My mother-in-law robbed me because I'm rich, but now I'm trying to get her arrested. Don't you hate when you have a Karen mother-in-law? By the way, buckle in. This is a long solo episode with your boy. Y'all, I miss Sam. If you miss him too, could you put I miss Sam in the comments? But without further ado, buckle up. To start, I, 46 female, am married and have 3 kids. 10 years ago, we came into money. A lot of money. I worked hard in my specific field, which earns a lot. Which field is it, huh? I had done some smart investments and they have paid out. I have been steadily adding to my bank account for these years. My husband considers this my money. We don't have a prenup, hence I will talk as the money is mine. When the first payload came in, I did what my husband and I always discussed if we have the money. The mortgage was paid off. I bought a new car and I managed to buy a nice house in our favorite holiday destination. Dang, the big 3 OP is balling out here. We rent this one out to a very nice family for most of the year. We set up college funds for our children, each an equal amount, which should be enough to pay for 5 years. If there is money left from the fund, the children can use this as a down payment on their house or apartment. When the money kept coming in, thanks to the investments in my work, I looked towards what could be done for my immediate family. My husband has 2 sisters, and we have 5 nieces and nephews on his side from one of the sisters. My brother has 2 children as well. It was decided that all of the nieces and nephews would have college funds as well. Oh my gosh, Opie is out here blessing her whole family. Straight up Oprah out here. You get a college fund. You get a college fund. For the same amount as my children under the same strict stipulations. I would get the information about the costs and make sure everything is paid. My eldest niece had already started college, so I paid the amount already paid to her parents to keep everything fair. She managed to finish within the 4 years and has some money left. I had an accountant, a dear friend, find out what would be beneficial to my brother and one of my sister-in-laws in regards to their mortgage. I paid off the majority for the both of them. My parents were sent on a nice trip since their house is already paid off, and both my in-laws and other sister-in-law rent, so I paid a certain amount so they can save that money. Part of the money goes to charity at home and abroad. I also set up some college funds for the children of our closest friends and family members. OP, I would like to formally submit my application to be your best friend. I mean, I feel like we would hit it off. You know, you want to be on the pod? You know, I could pull up a seat for you right here, honestly. We don't need to tell Sam, okay? As a treat, hubby, our kid, and I went on a paid by us/me vacation with both my own extended family and his. At this point, everyone is very grateful. Listen, if you're not grateful to OP right now, something very bad needs to happen to you. I'm sorry. Like, I also just remembered the title and the mother-in-law. However, one of the sister-in-laws always has a need to be in the spotlight, or that one or all of her children need to be in the spotlight as well. She's nice to my face, but I know for a fact that she has been bad-mouthing me, making passive-aggressive remarks about me and my work and my person, but always in such a manner that you would be a B/a-hole if you would say something about it. My usual tactic, and the one that works always, is play the innocent/dumb one and nitpick on what she says. That is a smart strategy. I have managed to shut her up many times without being classified as a B. So the past few years, sister-in-law has been hinting that I should pay for a very nice all-inclusive resort holiday for her and her family abroad since I have the money. Just because you have someone that is close to you that has a lot of money does not mean that they should have to pay for you to do something. Also, not that this would justify it, but look at all of the things that OP has done. Look at all of the people that OP has helped. She put her friends' kids through college, her kids through college, her nieces and nephews. There's just a line. You kind of know it when you feel it. Again, people that have money should help other people, but it's situations like these where I believe the sister-in-law has already been helped out. It's a bit too much. Note, They have money saved that would have initially been used for the college funds of their kids. There we go. Money that has barely been used. COVID hit and she has been silent. She and her husband took and still take it very seriously. Now that restrictions are mostly lifted, she had a birthday party for her and her son, since her son really wanted to have a party. No biggie, we show up with a gift for her and her son and all is well. Birthday boy got a voucher to buy a tent or the camping gear he wanted. Sister-in-law got a voucher to use whatever way she wanted. I added some sunscreen, drinks, and such, as I knew she wanted to go on holiday or some sort of thing like that. Or so we thought. Oh boy. She asked what our holiday plans are. We say that we won't be crossing any foreign borders. We're going to stay in our home country, but we booked a cabin somewhere for a week. Very nice, not luxurious or anything. We would still need to cook and do the grocery shopping. Sister-in-law starts saying, "Oh, how nice. We are still thinking about what we want to do." My lovely husband and I both have an inkling what she's hinting at, but we start spouting ideas in the hopes of avoiding tragedy. We have family at one place. Maybe they could stay there for a weekend or so. There is a campsite somewhere else with entertainment for the children of various ages. And then it comes. She shows us something she found on the World Wide Web, and to be honest, it looks amazing. Not too luxurious, but still very nice. All-inclusive water park for the kids, spa center, and the whole shebang. Bro, places with water parks, that slaps. Price tag for a family of 7, $35,000. A measly $35,000. Wow, what a deal. So husband says that that's a lot, but is glad they saved so much to do this. Sister-in-law then goes, "Oh, we don't. We thought you would be paying as my birthday gift." Say what? People, she just told us what she was looking at. No, scratch that. She expected me to give about $35,000 as a gift for her birthday just because I have money. She goes on that I earn enough and their family, our godson and other nieces and nephews have been promised already and so forth. God. We all sat in stunned silence. Birthday boy and two of his sisters even looked up to see what we would say while laughing and playing with our children. Husband started laughing, thinking it was a joke. Father-in-law just sat there and looked on, and I did a seemingly good impression of a fish. No, sister-in-law was dead serious. You have the money, you can just give it, you won't miss it. God. I hate this. This woman has shown her disdain for me and my work many times over in a very sweet, passive-aggressive manner, so that way it was hard to call her out on it. Me, husband, and even her father still have done so. I just sat there and listened how she widened her eyes, trying to look sweet, something she does every time she wants something, and giving all the reasons why we should give her the money without counting the voucher we gave her. I then regained my wits and just say the full sentence she didn't want to hear. Me. No. Sister-in-law. But you have the money. Me. I have the money. That is true. Sister-in-law. So you can pay for it. Me. I could indeed. Sister-in-law interrupting me. Oh, that's great. Me. But I won't. Sister-in-law. But we deserve it. You won't miss it. We're family. Yep, unfortunately, you and I are family now. I love being family of your kids, however. Me. Fact. We are indeed family. Fact. We all deserve a nice holiday after the fluff show called COVID. False. I would surely miss it since it wouldn't be in the bank. Intended that one as a joke. Sister and brother-in-law continue to rant about how much they think I should pay for it. Me. Listen, you have shown many times you do not respect me or my line of work. You do not respect the fact that I worked very hard and made sacrifices to earn this money. You do not respect the fact that I have paid off your mortgage, paid for the college education of your kids, and even some money for their own place. You badmouth me, call me names, and even told people my husband should divorce me. OP, you owe these people nothing. Sister-in-law is just trying hard to deny it. Brother-in-law calls me a liar. Father-in-law joins in and sides with me. Her own children can tell their father that they have heard their own mother saying horrible things about me. Birthday boy even recorded one conversation she's had with someone while making a TikTok video. He showed this. Brother-in-law went mute. Conversation continued. Sister-in-law notices she won't get the expensive holiday she wanted. Fine. then don't pay for the holiday. The least you could do is pay for our plane tickets and let us stay at your holiday home / favorite holiday destination. Remember, I rented out to local family for most of the year. Due to the pandemic, they have to stay there as they can't / are afraid to travel. Me, not happening. First of all, the family can't leave. Second, you don't get to make demand. The voucher you got has a very generous amount of money on it for you to use the way you please, maybe towards a holiday. Third, we already went on a paid by us / me holiday, so you got a paid for holiday already. Fourth, if you want more money, then get a job that will pay more. Have a degree. Last, you treat me like crap and still expect me to just hand over my hard-earned money. Sister-in-law starts the waterworks and turns to her father, who completely sided with me. He told her he understands me. He told her he knows how hard I worked and the sacrifices me and my husband have made for this. My husband is pissed. He sees red and tells his sister in no uncertain terms that this won't be happening, and how dare they? Indeed, how dare they? He tells her that we're leaving. We pack up the kids and go home. Later, we get on a call. Mother-in-law has gossiping tendencies as the sister-in-law is her favorite. She tries the whole spiel on how hard they had it before I came into money and helped them, etc. Husband dealt with her perfectly and she understood after a lengthy conversation. Now here is where I just laugh. Apparently, sister-in-law's kids are pissed that she pulled the stunt and went full rebel mode. We have a great relationship and seemed afraid that this would influence it. They managed to come by and we had a heart-to-heart. I told them we don't blame them for the actions of their parent. I explained to them the reasons for not handing out the money like that after the initial gifts. The youngest seemed to side more with mom and dad, but the rest said they understood. They know about their generous college and home fund. I stated to them that we wouldn't want for them to do anything against their parents as they still live. They stayed for dinner and then went home. As of now, the kids are barely talking to their parents. They still do their chores, let them know things, but that's it. Gossipers in the form of other family members came in as sister-in-law had sent them messages and called them. Simple Facebook post by the birthday boy with the video put a stop to that. We have the receipts, lady! Sister-in-law and brother-in-law had an enormous backlash from the previously gossiping family members calling them out. They have been uninvited to certain events. We have received apologies from the gossiping family members. Some told me that they had a hard time as they understood both her and me. The only thing that bothers me is the fact that my in-laws are caught in the middle, especially my mother-in-law, who is very family-oriented. I know some of you might / will wonder why I don't just give them the money. One of the reasons is the way she... Wait. Who would wonder that? Who? She does not deserve to give them the money. One of the reasons why is the way she has treated me, even before I came into money. Another reason is that I simply feel uncomfortable just handing out money. I simply ask you to give your opinion in a kindly fashion. Am I the a-hole for not paying? We have lots of updates. We have lots of different parts, y'all. But this is a good time, I think, to break it down of what we know so far. I just can't imagine being given so much by a person and then going back and not only are they asking for something outrageous like a $35,000 vacation, they're doing things like telling their kids in advance so that way they can try and like guilt OP into being like, oh, well, if you want to crush their dreams, you don't want to crush the dreams of our sweet children, your sweet nieces and nephews? No, absolutely not. Even they saw through their parents' BS. My God, if there is ever a story that we've read of an entitled person who did not deserve what they're asking for, this is number one, y'all. Number one out of like 2,000 stories. My goodness. But let's get into this update. Long story once more. I was the one whose sister-in-law demanded that I pay for a holiday. Here's the next part. So sister-in-law was very disappointed and angry that I didn't bow down to her every whim and pay for a holiday. For those who read my first post, know that I'm well off, thanks to the hard work and some luck. We had some flying monkeys, aka gossiping family members, come in because of my sister-in-law. Most backed down and understood where we stood and left it alone. Unfortunately, the whole family of my what? Guys, please help me with these acronyms. Unfortunately, the whole family of my husband now knows knows that we have a bank account with lots of money in it. As sister-in-law had called out a lot of family members to complain and spill the beans, they began talking amongst themselves and their children. Some of the aunts, uncles, and cousins didn't think it was fair that I paid college funds for some of the children of cousins and that I paid for a family holiday. Well, please don't tell me we have more entitled Karens coming out of the woodwork here. Please! To note, I only have college funds for the children of cousins who we have a close relationship with. There's about 6 cousins with around 12 kids. I'm in this family for almost 20 years and I only see a majority of the aunts, uncles, and cousins on a yearly/bi-yearly family reunion, if everybody. I haven't seen some of them in around 5 to 10 years. A couple of days after the fallout with sister-in-law, an aunt and uncle called, something they never do. I put my phone on speaker as I was busy with folding the laundry. They ask how everything is going, how we're holding up during the pandemic and such. We exchange some experiences and then they both go like this. Aunt and uncle, listen, we hear you have some college funds set up for some of the children of certain cousins. Is that true? Me. That's true. I'm no liar. Is it true that you took mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law 1 and 2, and family with you on a holiday? Yes. You also have a holiday home, right? We do. But why do you want and need to know? We never knew you had so much money. Well, a lot of hard work, sacrifice, dedication, and luck were part of it. Aha! Well, you have to pay for our grandchildren's college funds as well. Oh, I know it's coming, guys. I know it's coming, but it still hurts every time. We do want to go on a holiday with our children too. We deserve it too. Me, shocked and silent. We're family, so you have to pay. Me, less shocked. Yes, we want college funds for our 6 grandchildren, each consisting of $800,000 for each child, and we want a holiday home like yours, but in location X. We already have one we want. We'll send you the information, and that goes for our family holiday. We're family, and since you have the money, you can pay for us too. Me, pissed off silence. They continue to rant that they deserve it because they're family, and family takes care of each other. My husband, meanwhile, had heard everything and was getting angrier. I had pressed a record button halfway through the convo and asked them to repeat their demand. I eventually asked them if they had more to say, which they didn't. I just flat out said that it wasn't gonna happen. They might think they're entitled to my money, but they weren't. I quoted the phrase they and many of the family gave us when my husband and I didn't have the money and we were in a tight spot because we had a health scare. We asked every family member if we could borrow some money and we would pay it back. Only 3 of the 9 aunts and uncles helped us out and we paid them back. The quote, "It is your responsibility to have and save enough for the care, well-being, and education of your family. If you can't, then you don't deserve. We won't be giving you any money." Stunned silence on their side. I told them to relay the message to the rest and not to call us with such demands again. And I hung up the phone. Hubby was very proud. Listen, you have done so much. I'm gonna say this 1,000 times, okay? Are you ready? Do we got a counter going for how many times that OP doesn't have to pay? OP does not have to pay. Thank you. In the weeks that followed, the sum of the other aunts and uncles and cousins called with the same. Only those aunts and uncles who helped us in our time of need called us and told us to say that it is our money and they have plenty of it. Don't ask for more. One cousin called and asked for a certified loan for a down payment on a house, something I have agreed to. They had the majority saved, but came up short of $1,000. Okay, you know what? Now we're talking. Take some notes, sister-in-law. They had to pay for it sooner as they could get the house sooner. Just now, I saw that I received the first half of it. That also raised hell. Then, with the aunts and uncles and cousins, we had a Zoom call, and I explained to them my reason for not doing it. I told them that they could always come when they truly needed financial help, but under legal contracts so that neither party would feel themselves screwed over. Cousin who had borrowed money even showed the certified/notarized loan. Most seemed to understand. Not entirely happy, but they knew they could come for help. For some, it wasn't. Ooh, who are those some? Then came the cherry on. I came home last weekend on a holiday to find a lot of parked cars in an otherwise empty street. I had to pass my house in order to park somewhere else, and around 15 to 20 aunts, uncles, and cousins gathering in the front yard. So much for social distancing. Their family is straight up staging a protest in front of OP's house. Please save me. Now, here is something that few people know. I have security cameras around my home that record sound as well. Another thing that few people know, don't mess with me. I told them that my right hook is very painful. Yo, honestly, OP, start swinging. I'm in your corner. I'm in your corner, let me tell you. So while walking back, I called the non-emergency line of our local police station. I told them the situation and telling them the crap might hit the fan. If they could come and assist me in case it got out of hand. Yo, OP's just out here just slugging. I'm like, yo, bring it on. Ding, ding, ding. All right, who we got? Yo, Aunt, Uncle, Bop, Cousin Bob, Bop. They would send some cops and crap hit the fan. The moment I stepped inside of people, they started screaming, cursing, telling me to pay up or they will make sure that I'll pay one way or the other, all while cornering me. Some of them poked their finger close to my face and in my chest and arm. I told them multiple times to stop what they were doing and leave. Sometime through this, the cops were called by some neighbors as well, and when they arrived, were trying to get me. Then one uncle made a mistake. Y'all, are you ready? He slapped a man of about 6'3", slapped me, a woman of just 5'2", across the face in full view of the cop. Crowd went silent as he put his face almost in my face and went on a rant that I had to obey him as one of the elders of the family, all with his hand raised as he would slap me. Couldn't continue his rant. I knocked him to the ground. Let's go, WWE. In this corner, standing 5'2", we have OP, scrappy and loaded with big old piggy banks and big old right hooks. In this corner, we have freaking idiot, 6'3", dumb cousin Bob, who's about to get his lights turned freak out. He stayed down, not unconscious, but quite rattled and stunned that I had punched him. This is apparently what the cops needed as well. The family members were stunned and the cops managed to get them away from me. They were pissed. A couple of the aunts and uncles and cousins managed to make a run for their car and drive away. What is this, a college party? The rest got to meet with some very angry cops, some fines for breaking social distancing rules, and expectations that charges might be pressed against them. To shorten the novel already, fine, I have some bruised fingers, uncle had a broken cheekbone, wow, of my lovely cameras and are now in the hands of the DA, of the district attorney. The other family members have distanced themselves from the crap that happened. To be honest, I feel really crappy. I feel like I'm dividing a family just because I won't hand out my money. My husband says that this is money that I worked hard for, so I get to decide what happens. Correct. Still, I'm thinking of setting up some college funds aside for the rest of the children, though I'm still doubting this. It would also seem that I don't stand my ground and can be persuaded with violence, threats, harassment. I am so sick of it. Edit. To keep myself from repeating, I've pressed charges against my uncle for the little love tap he gave me. Thankfully, my uncle has not filed counter charges to keep the love tap I gave him in return. I've been told he asked for anger management courses and a psychological evaluation without prompts. Freaking ridiculous. His statement is that he got carried away and felt he was being egged on. He also wrote that he was extremely sorry and never meant to hurt me. I might give you a little more than a love tap, Mr. 6'3" cousin Bobby. I know this behavior is out of character for him. He and his wife also contacted my lawyer with a written apology already. All those present had to give statements and one red thread emerged. They were there because the aunt and uncle who called me first, the ones from this post, had said they all should and see if they can come convince me. As for the charges concerning the others who were present, my lawyer is looking if they can get charges to stick for harassment. He's also looking if the instigators can be charged with a number of things. That guy is having a field day. He loves this. Those who are not involved have sent texts, called me, and sent me emails telling me they're sorry for the behavior of their spouse, sibling, parent, etc. They have not asked me to drop charges or anything though, just apologies. On to another update. A short update on my previous post. I want to cover some of the comments without repeating myself. I find it hard to answer everything. I still want to thank you all for the comments and opinions. I'll try to cover everything. Thanks for the awards. I know that some of you might think it's fake. That's okay. I still wish it was. What I want to start with is that the behavior is out of character. This is my husband's family, and they have always been hardworking themselves, saved money, and been family oriented. They did and do not all have jobs that have earned a lot. Them not loaning money when we needed it is because they don't like loaning money. They're afraid of not getting it back as they also needed it. However, the comment they made then hurt. We talked about it at the time. They understood then and apologized. Also, husband and I have strong feelings that blabbermouth sister-in-law has said some things to them to get them to go nuts. At the moment, this is just a hunch. We'll see what time will tell us. So for them to pounce on me like this is not normal behavior for them. It doesn't change a thing though. Since the incident, I have talked to cousins, aunts, and uncles. One, on advice of my lawyer, I sent an email that I do not want to be contacted by them at this point, as the visitors might face a lawsuit, as does Love Tap Uncle. Let's call him Uncle Bob. I gave them the contact information of my lawyer if they so wish or need. I asked them to respect. I also advised the visitors and Uncle Bob to find legal advice due to the circumstance. As of now, they respect this, as we have not received calls, texts, and email. Only one cousin is in contact with my husband. This is the cousin who has the certified loan, and thus we need to be in contact. He told my husband and the visitors and Uncle Bob are very ashamed of themselves and realize they fluffed up enormously. He has heard some talk about mediation. Uncle Bob even cried in front of him, a man who never cries. It seems genuine, but I'm cautious. I do not trust Uncle Bob for one freaking second. I've read the responses and don't feel guilty anymore. I'm a person who helps when needed. Always have. That is right, OP. Hey, say it with your chest, okay? Even when we didn't have a lot of money, people were always welcome to stay for dinner and a night or two to get back on their feet. I have always felt lucky and blessed that I had a roof over my head, 3 meals a day, and clothes on my back. Husband and I discussed that we won't be offering any kinds of funds for the other family members, their children, or grandchildren. However, we are open to certified loans like the one cousin has, but decided that we won't be sharing this view for now. I'm not going to punish people for the actions of their parents/grandparents. Some people said that I should move and change my number. No, I won't do that. I'm not going to move because of what happened. We live in a safe neighborhood with neighbors who take care of each other. Also, as of now, this is an isolated incident. I did block them on my phone and social media. My number is known to many official authorities. And again, as this is an isolated incident for the time being, I won't. Husband chose to block them, and any contact of them has been through him in case they want to message him and they say things that could be used in court. He wants to keep tabs on them for as far that is possible. I'm okay with it. All the correspondence has been saved. Lawyer and I have a Zoom call planned for the next week. I have let him know what the cousin said. He also hopes to hear something from the district attorney then. He said that mediation is an option and wouldn't be surprised if the district attorney would look into this if the visitors and Uncle Bob are open for this idea. There still might be legal consequences for them. He has some ideas, but it also depends on the district attorney and what the visitors and Uncle Bob plead. My lawyer told me that he had some time to read some of the statements and view parts of the footage. Up until now, their stories are consistent with the footage he's seen. At this point, I want that their actions are recorded somewhere and have consequences for them. You do not get to threaten me, possibly my family, and harm me without getting your behind kicked at least once. Let them be scared crapless at this point. The footage is in the hands of the district attorney and my lawyer. Also, a neighbor has recorded what happened, and that is also in the hands of the district attorney and my lawyer. Neighbor has also given a statement. I also have the footage saved in other places. You never know. Neighbors now know what happened. I sent them flowers with an apology for the disturbance. OP, just every move you make is gold. Midas touch of niceness. Neighbors are not afraid and thankfully have promised to keep an eye on things. Angel neighbors, really. I don't consider myself a hero. I just try to be a decent human being. I don't flaunt the fact that we have money. We live in a normal home in a normal street. We don't wear expensive clothes. The car I bought 10 years ago was brand new then, and that baby is still going strong. It has some dents and scratches on it, but the baby works. I'm not going to buy a new car if this one is still working. Same goes for my husband's car. The kids have their own chores and get pocket money, but if they want something extra, they can do extra chores for some extra spending money. They also have to save part of their pocket money. We want to teach them the value of money. The eldest realizes that we have a filled bank account, but also has seen what it has cost. The kids want a Nintendo Switch at the moment, so they're saving their money for that now. We will pay for a certain amount, and the rest they will have to get for themselves. So we just try to be an average family. Hope I covered all the comments and questions. Thanks again for reading. So we have more updates, y'all, but I think OP has shown again and again how she is completely willing to, help people that need it. Like the certified loan thing, OP really does not need to loan anyone any money ever again. And just point to this, like, hey, my family literally ganged up in my yard and physically attacked me. Lawyers in the comment section, lawyer students, all you people studying law, let me know in the comments down below. It seems like a lot of people could be catching cases out here, which would make me so happy. But let's get into this update. First, I am dealing with some health issues. It's not related to the vid, thankfully, but I need some surgery. There will be a lawsuit against Uncle Bob and the visitor. When? The date is set for January at this point. Let's hope it doesn't get postponed. Husband and I have written a letter that our lawyer could read in court in the case that we wouldn't be able to be there, either in person or on a video call. Remember the blabbermouth sister-in-law, the very original one, guys? She's back. Let's call her Sister Sally. Sister Sally's role is becoming clearer, but since we don't have the full picture yet, I will update you later. Uncle Bob had a minor fracture of his cheekbone, apparently. Nothing major. He didn't need any surgery. As for the husband lawyer and I have had some good, honest conversations about my own behavior. Lawyer is a friend that I know from way back, and he says that although I am quite the gentle soul, I can also be strict, direct, and have a no-nonsense attitude, which OP needs. I've always been family-oriented and wanting to help others. Unfortunately, this has proved to be my downfall. Lawyer and husband agree that I can be more no-nonsense and stricter when it comes to family as well. I recognize I tend to sweep things under the rug because family, stupid me. Since then, I get great feedback from both of them, and I have sought out a therapist who says I have also made improvements. That's a brilliant idea. Since the visit, husband and I have been contacted by many family members from his side, mostly to ask questions about, as they just heard one side of the story and things were unclear to them. Some of them were understanding about these situations. They were honest that they felt left out, but as one cousin said, to be honest, I would not have thought of you either if something like this happened to me. They repeated they would appreciate any gesture, but that it was not their money to decide. Unfortunately, there were some family members who came to the defense of the visitors and said, "What's the big deal? I had plenty of money. Just share it as you won't miss it." Here we go again. They have been sending us messages on a daily basis. Hello, harassment charges! Ching, 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 ching. Telling us that we were selfish people and that family should share when good luck came their way. Then one day we received a request for a Zoom call from a cousin who had not spoken to us at all. We accepted, only to find, no, it was a virtual ambush from the visitors. Some family members had gathered online from their separate homes to talk to us. They got minutes before I made it clear I wanted to say something. I want to say something. Visitor, okay? So you want us to share the money? Yes. A lot of behind kissing comments like, really, you're the best. First, I want $2,000 from each of you. People crying in outrage, loads and loads of comments, and then one of them said the magical words, "Why would I give you that amount of money? Me and my partner work hard for that money, and now you just demand that amount? You can't do that. We all work hard for that money." So do we. What makes you think then that you can make the same demands of us and expect us to give in to them? I will be honest that I loved the embarrassed silence that followed. The cousin with the loan was part of it and said that when he heard about it, he called for a certified loan for the down payment on his home. He then went on about the terms of the loan and that according to the lawyer he had asked to review it, it was a good document. Strict, yes, but it protected both sides. Husband and I tell them that our cousin with the loan was given the loan because he asked for it nicely and agreed to a certified loan. One of them asked if we would do it again. We told them point blank that if they wanted to borrow money, we wouldn't be sure to agree to it because of a couple things. That you don't deserve it. 1, they behaved like entitled people and treated us like crap. 2, you don't get to treat people like this and then go kissing their behind the moment you want something. 3, they all have jobs. Save for it if it is something that is considered luxury. 3, the circumstances might change, so maybe we would not be able to help. 5, if, and that's a big if, we decide to help out, we want the most minuscule details about what the money is needed for, and they have to agree to get a certified loan. Most people back out as they don't want strings attached or a claim they made on their car or house. It's almost a little bit like when you go to McDonald's and there's like the $3 small fry, and then there's like the quintuple large fry for like $3.20, and you're like, yo, I'll go for that. Like OP is trying to position the option where it's like, hey, you could have this thing, but you're not going to want to do that. It's very smart. So I totally see what OP is playing here. It is a smart move. Hopefully, I pray it deters anybody from even thinking of asking for money, or just like getting so lost in the sauce of trying to get the certified loan stuff together that they just don't do anything. But we have more. It was very silent for a while. I told them that I had a good idea. They wanted money because they wanted a more luxurious car or a remodel in their kitchen, bathroom, whatever in the house while it was still working and no hazard or need of replacing. Maybe they wanted to buy that fancy item they coveted for a while, or a game console for their kids. Save up for it. More silence and embarrassed shifting on their part. Husband told them to stop harassing us. Thank you. We are being blamed of tearing the family apart, but their own greed was doing that. Correct. Up until now, there were no problems and we all went along just fine. Now money comes in the picture and almost everyone changes into money-hungry moron. Yup. His words, he became very emotional as he said that this wasn't the family he grew up with, and that he hated to see them change so much. Then the apologies came from some of them. We left the Zoom telling them that we only wanted to hear from them if they came with an apology first and not to contact us as we needed space. Oh, this is the move. Thank you so much. We they still might try to slide in some certified loans or whatever, but maybe this will get them to stop. Some have texted us those apologies, and husband has some phone conversation. Others have not changed their status from money-hungry moron and keep texting us all kind of wailing stories about how much they need/deserve the money. Block them. Block their freaking arson. One cousin even texted me saying that I deserve that slap in face. I was not blood and should therefore just bow down to the will of the family. Bruh, I don't think you really want OP's hands like that. I don't think you want the smoke. You gotta hop out the barbecue freaking oven, my guy, because you're about to get a slow roasted ham straight to the freaking face. He even told husband to get his wife back under control and be a good family member. Oh, my blood is boiling. He keeps harassing us and made some comments that hint on me getting hit again. I simply said that if he had talked to cousin Bob and how his broken cheekbone felt. Those comments stopped, and the cousin who got the loan told me that he suspects that cousin didn't want to meet my right fist, as cousin had talked to him about it and he had been hinting something along those lines. Every text is saved and goes into a big USB drive for the lawyer to get started on some nice cease and desist letters, as some may know them. Cousin Bob and the visitors have stopped contact when asked and advised. So that was the update up to this. On to a more positive note. Cousin Bob and his girlfriend, the cousin with the loan and his girlfriend, had bought their house, and when it was done, we were invited to visit it. Mask wearing and keeping distance, they turned a house into a home. It was good to see the pride and joy coming from them. We're about to get into the part 2 of this, but my freaking God. I think the thing that I'm very excited about is that OP is shifting more and more and more into the direction of, look, we don't owe these people anything. Why should we be giving them anything? They don't deserve it. After all the things that you have done for them, it is just completely insane. So I'm super glad to see that OP is doing that. But without further ado, part 2. A lot has happened in the past couple of months. Due to the fact that it was an enormous amount of text, I cut the update into more parts. First, I want to say that I've read all the comments. Thank you for taking the time to read my post and comment on it. Also, I had my surgery and I'm recovering, slowly but steadily. Husband and the kids helped me a lot. Bless them. I also read some speculation about the college funds. First of all, where I live, college isn't insanely expensive like in the USA. Okay, so she's out of the States. These funds should suffice for community college type education or trade school, making it less expensive than private or top universities. Another point is that the funds only cover a good part of tuition and books. No rent, extracurricular activities, or living expense. So it doesn't cost millions like some people have speculated. The mortgages were not entirely paid off, but I gave sister-in-law and brother-in-law and my brother an amount which helped them a lot. They paid the rest off themselves. My investments, they were done before husband was in the picture, were in some companies and technologies that have since grown. Finally, like what is this woman doing and how can we do the same? My goodness. Not all investments have paid off, but some did. We count ourselves very lucky. Part of it goes to our retirement funds and to charities at home and abroad. I've asked for investment advice from a professional when I decided to do that. I was about 23 when I did. I also followed some courses on how to invest. Also, I noticed that some people on YouTube use the stories, and I've read the responses. Some people asked why I would help a sister-in-law who behaves the way she did. Well, we love her kids, and it was more for them than the sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Another reason was that we wanted to keep things fair if that's possible. I now know that this might not have been the smartest move. Like I was saying before, yeah. The last reason is that we had seen decent behavior for some time, so we figured that manners had been learned. Now back to the situation with a bit of a backstory. Last time we left off, there was a couple of aunts, uncles, and cousins that came by to visit to demand and scream for money. One of the uncles earned the title of Little Love Tap, who we will call Uncle Bob, for the little love tap that he gave me. One of the cousins also had a loan and he's paid back everything. I asked the family not to contact me, but to contact a lawyer instead. They have mostly respected that. They did ask for a Zoom call in, which would explain everything. Lawyer hubby and I agreed to do so after the court cases would be over. On to the update. I don't know all the details of the court cases as I couldn't be present. Not the vid, but other health related issues. Let me say that first. Also, due to the nasty vid, most of the conversations were through online meeting. Uncle Bob was charged for trespassing, assault, and threatening to cause bodily harm, and he pled guilty. Take that, frickin' Uncle Bob. His lawyer said that he has been following anger management courses on his own, and reports from the therapist and another court-ordered psychologist confirmed what we thought. That this is not like him, and he regrets everything he's done. The judge gave Uncle Bob a very hard time from what the lawyer told me. The judge did not take kindly that a man hit a woman. Uncle Bob was asked some tough questions by the judge, the main as to why he did it. Well, now it gets juicy. As if this wasn't freaking juicy and crazy enough, my God. It seems that our blabbermouth sister-in-law threw plane loads of kerosene on a fire before her calls and texts didn't even exist. You see, the family didn't know that we had money as we had asked those who did to keep their mouths shut. That was respected until now. Blabbermouth's sister-in-law called Uncle Bob and the rest of the family, telling them about the money and how we refused to share it with the family. Then came the lie. Blabbermouth turned on the waterworks, telling them and the other family members that I made fun of their financial situation, flaunted my wealth, and was overall mean, disrespectful, and spiteful. Throw this woman in jail! She played the victim to them all, accusing me of horrible things. She then continued to say that I made fun of the rest of the family for their choices of life, jobs, ambition, and so much more. To keep a long story shorter, she pushed all of the buttons and pushed them deep. The reason the rest of the visitors went crazy was again thanks to Blabbermouth's sister-in-law, who really knows how to push people's buttons. That woman deserves an Oscar for her performance. Uncle Bob and the visitors apologized for whatever that's worth. Judge asked if our lawyer had some input from our side. Our lawyer wrote a letter that we wrote. He told the judge that we were deeply hurt by what had happened. There was no ill will, harm, or disrespect, and that was never meant towards any of them. We chose to do with the money as we saw fit and have always been willing to help. But having money does not mean that it should be handed out like it's dust in the wind. Our lawyer also told the judge that we are very angry for their entitlement and behavior, them showing up, and of course, the literal slap in the face. I used to respect them a lot, but I will not accept this behavior from anyone and ask the judge to have justice served. If that meant a sentence and a record, then so be it. Why would I feel any compassion for the people who felt the need to attack me? That's a great question, OP. Lay down the law. Uncle Bob was sentenced with 18 months of community service. Okay. I was like, wait a second. Whoa! 18 months of community service and a fine plus court costs. Hey, I like it. I like it. Especially for leading a siege in her lawn. This is too much. He has also continued the anger management courses for at least another year. An evaluation will determine whether or not something needs to be done after. This will go on some sort of record from what I've been told. I've accepted that. The visitors were also charged for harassment and threatening a person. They pled guilty and had to pay a hefty fine along with 6 months of community service. You know, if you had just been in OP's life, not that you had to give her money when she had her health issues, but if you did, how ahead you would be in life. But yet, you chose to storm the capital of her probably very fancy and well-manicured lawn and demand that you get as much money as you possibly could from her. And now where are you? You have a court case on your record. You've paid fat freaking fines to the courts that basically are going into thin air. Well, I guess money is good to go to courts, but still. This is something I've also accepted. And before I forget, they have already received and paid fines for breaking social distance. Some other family members have received the equivalent of a cease and desist letter from our lawyer after the virtual visit, since some kept harassing us. It's been quiet ever since. This was part 1. I will give an update soon about what happened after the court cases. Yes. Let's keep going. After the court cases, we arranged a Zoom call with the aunts, uncles, and cousins involved in the whole story became clear. And not only what Uncle Bob told in court. Thus, the part that Blabbermouth's sister-in-law played became entirely clear. Our lawyer and their lawyer were present. They apologized and explained that they felt really hurt and angry, and that Blabbermouth's sister-in-law insisted that they went for their rightful share, God, as they deserved it because of the hurtful things that I said. They were family and deserved that family shares. God. Blabbermouth told me that she did it and that it worked. They also repeated the insults and horrible actions that I committed according to Blabbermouth. They felt hyped up by her. That and the greed got the best of them. They understood that this money is for us to do as we please. Our relationship is not the same and it won't ever be again. They seem to understand that we're not able nor willing to forget this attack on me, my character, and to an extent my husband as well. To be sure, I have a no contact order against them for at least a year. It also dawned on them that one breach of the order will ensure they get to meet law enforcement once again, as I don't back down. They also realized that if we were willing to help out financially in forms of loans, they annihilated that chance. Boom! We have been brutally honest with each other. I was pissed. I told them that they are adults who should have known better than to jump to conclusions. Correct! I was calm and collected when family members contacted me. Now, I wasn't. I let everything go. I told them to at least have the decency and soundness of mind to ask other parties involved for their side of the story and to listen to that side with an open mind. I tore them all a new one. Thank God. I was brutal according to my husband and lawyer. I treated the family to 20 minutes of brutal honesty. Even husband and lawyer said they were impressed to the point of being scared. After a lot of talking, the call ended. The relationship might not ever heal, but at least we discussed everything. I have my peace with that. If they could do this, then I don't want them as family. Lawyer thought that I had learned my lesson about not letting family off the hook easily just because they were family. OP. However, some family members were not involved in the visit. They contacted me after the virtual visit. We got to call this the ambush, the stampede, the blockade. They wanted to know how it was possible to earn/get so much money. If this was before, I would have understood the curiosity, but now I am entirely, completely skeptical. I shared some info about investing and gave them a number for advice if they wanted. With the number came the warning that investment has its risks. Oh, I hope this doesn't come. Everyone, throw your money in Dogecoin. It's going to the moon. I earned a lot of money, but I also lost plenty of it. They should not be investing if it will put them in debt. They thanked me for the warning. In regards to college funds or whatever for them, we won't be doing that, simply because we won't want anyone to think that such things can be achieved by this behavior. Yes. I didn't really have a relationship with them, but still, you don't treat family or any other person like this. Husband is still shaken that the mostly generous family he knew did what they did and treated him and me the way that they did. I hope he will be all right in the long run. So this is the part of Uncle Bob and the visitor. I wonder what the future will bring. And we don't have to wonder because there's more edits, more to the story, y'all. This account of mine was hacked. I received an email and someone changed my password. Since I had a health scare, I couldn't change it fast enough. For the a-hole that did that, really? Do something useful with your time instead of hacking accounts and posting pics of your stanky dong. Yeah. More to the story. Last post is what happened to Uncle Bob visitors and the aftermath concerning them. This one is about Blabbermouth's sister-in-law, my not so lovely sister-in-law who instigated the whole mess. While two of her kids moved out after a very bad fight with her, the eldest 26 female and her boyfriend already had a home waiting and just moved in. The renovations are not finished, but she said she didn't care. They sleep on an air mattress in one of the bedrooms and the rest of the house is a mess as they still need to renovate a lot. Second kid, 24 male, is staying with with his girlfriend at her parents' house where he helps with bills. Both have gone no contact with their parents after finding out what happened due to their mother. Two of the kids, 21 and 19, are pissed as heck, but aren't speaking to her and sleep at their friends' places a lot. The 17-year-old sides with the mother though, but he's the baby and Blabbermouth has always spoiled him. I've read comments about how people suggested we cut off Blabbermouth's children. No, I'm not going to do that. The 17-year-old did a blabbermouth in regards of demanding money. I frankly said that if he wanted an education largely paid for by my husband and I, he will stop with what he is doing and meet the requirements that come with the money for college. Otherwise, bye-bye money, see you later. Right. Actually, I just realized that because it seems like his college money is already paid for from what I remember. I told him that if he starts acting and behaving like his mother, bye-bye money. And yes, the money comes with requirements, very strict requirements. If you don't meet the requirements, the money flow stops. I'm not entirely stupid. So far, he has stopped. His siblings tell me he is quite hilarious when he throws his temper tantrum. Brother-in-law and his wife, Blabbermouth, also seem not too amused by my standpoint in the situation, like I care. The rest of the family also let her know what they thought. They called her, gave her a piece of their minds, and went full-blown no contact. Blabbermouth and brother-in-law are now pariahs in the family. Some cousins would help them with a paint job. Not happening. Another uncle who checks their car every year for a reduced fee told them to find another garage for help. I love that. They can't even get their gas and their oil changed. Another cousin would renovate their roof. He gave the money back that they had paid and told them to find someone else. Mother-in-law is heartbroken. Now that hurt. I don't think she ever thought her own children could and would do this and break up the family. She still has contact with the grandkids, but her and Blabbermouth's relationship is strained. Same goes for father-in-law. Every Saturday, we would have coffee with immediate family. Mother-in-law, father-in-law, Blabbermouth, brother-in-law, and the kids if they had time. Us and our others. We still see them, but we don't go there if we know Blabbermouth will be coming too, or is already there. That has meant that the times that we were there and saw her coming, we immediately packed our things and left. Could you imagine for a second, everybody, your own sister does this to you and your significant other? Come on. Blabbermouth had been badgering my husband, me, and the kids, alternating how sorry she is and that she didn't mean for this to happen and acting like she did nothing wrong. One time she called my husband, who put the phone on speaker once as I was curious as heck and wanted to hear how she dug herself deeper into a pile of crap. Ooh, she didn't disappoint. I had to laugh hysterically when she spewed her crap through the phone. Told her that if she didn't want this all to happen, then why did she do it? Why did she tell all those lies? She just wanted money and employed the family as her minions to do her bidding. Because if I had paid for them, I could pay for her, right? She was silent. Lawyer is looking if any legal action could be taken against Blabbermouth. He has been given the text from the family and from us. At this point, slander, instigation for harassment and violence, and harassment itself are the ones he is collecting evidence for. I like that. He digs deep. He wants everything so he can throw it at her. He has even contacted the family to see if they were willing to hand over the text voluntarily. Most did. Blabbermouth has been blocked from both of our phones, email, social media after the last phone call. After she found out she had been blocked, she came to our home to try to sweet talk her way out of it. Brother-in-law came too. They even came together on times they knew that husband would be out and try to intimidate / sweet talk. My answer was to call the police. Let's go. Next, Blabbermouth tried to slander us to people in the hometown. Have you not learned your lesson? Please. Unfortunately for her, that backfired and she gets the stink eye from a lot of people in town. Then she did something that scared us a bit. One day a week, my mother-in-law picks up the youngest kids from school. They go with her, have a snack, and are later joined by the eldest, who goes to secondary school. They do their homework from there, and then they either eat, we all eat there, or we get some takeout for dinner. Mother-in-law is always early due to a doctor's appointment. She and father-in-law ran late, though. Blabbermouth was waiting at school of our youngest kid. I don't like this. Why? We don't know. The kids thankfully saw her and stayed inside the school. Eldest son had finished school early and had decided to go to his siblings' school to go with them with our mother-in-law. He saw his aunt and waited inside the school to wait for mother-in-law with his sibling. Blabbermouth left shortly after. Thank God. School was brought up to date on the situation and promised to call the police immediately if she was spotted again. Wow. In the meantime, we are waiting for an approval for a no contact order against her and brother-in-law. I think at this point, that's the ultimate solution. I mean, they're potentially coming and scooping up your kids. Like, that cannot happen. We have also moved to a different place. Initially, we didn't want to, but due to what happened, we thought it might be best to do so. Other people heard what happened and were very friendly all of a sudden. I have a small update on the cousin who decided to use our car to vent his frustrations, as well as on the lawsuit Blabbermouth hit us with. What? Cousin has probably lost his job and has a lot of trouble there. Apparently his boss got wind of the fact that he vandalized our cars and was caught on camera. Whoa! Don't know how he found out, and frankly, don't care. Boss is not happy at all. From the family members that don't have a no contact order against us, we hear the two different tales. What I know for certain is that at cousin's job, the stunt he pulled got him into serious trouble. We also got a temporary no contact order against him. Damages are set to be fixed in 2 weeks' time. Jeez. Cousin has been told the amount of damages he has caused. He can pay for it out of his own pocket, of course. Insurance companies don't pay for idiots destroying other people's cars. He will also see the inside of a courtroom in either August or September. We also found out how he found our car. His friends live in the same neighborhood as we do. We didn't know this. The cousin seemed to have told his friends his version of events, and his buddies told us he saw us in the neighborhood. Wonder what friends think now after what the cousin did. As for the lawsuit, let's get the people clear. My dear lawyer friend had his batch of cookies and he loved them. He also replied to Blabbermouth, sending some of what he had on texts, voicemails, and emails with a note that if Blabbermouth didn't drop the lawsuit, we would counterfile and demand compensation of whatever kind. There are people who thought that Blabbermouth lied to her lawyer. She, of course, did. She told a bunch of lies and decided to fabricate evidence to prove it. Wow, my lawyer saw it. Blabbermouth didn't like it and dropped them as clients. I couldn't help but wanting to be a fly in the wall when Blabbermouth's lawyer told Blabbermouth that. Let's see what she'll do next. I'm halfway wondering if I should get popcorn and a soda for this. Bruh, listen, I already had to pour a drink up. This is getting too saucy over here. Y'all realize this story is so long, I had to get a cable for this, y'all. We heard you like long stories, so if you want more long stories, drop a comment below. Convince me and Sam. Do we do this? On to more of the story. Hey people, I have another update on entitled cousin. He is the douche canoe that said I should bend to the will of the family. I'm out of ideas of nicknames. Douche canoe is great. We're still waiting for the court meeting, but some charges are being added next to vandalism and destruction of personal property. No, he didn't scratch our cars or slash our tires this time. Smart man. The word is instead, he got to meet Frou Frou, our neighbor's dog, and our neighbor. As it is summer, my husband and I decided to go on a holiday in our own country again. Due to the vid, we didn't feel going abroad to our holiday home. We are vaccinated, although our children are not. We had a blast. Kids could go to the pool a couple of times. We had to make some reservations and made friends with the other kids. Halfway through our holiday, we got a call. My little brother, he's younger than me, but taller. Little brother of mine called to tell the entitled cousin had been arrested again. Oh my God. This time, the douche canoe actually found our home. And you lovely people can try and guess what he did. Oh my God, I don't want to. Did he try to throw rocks at the windows? No, okay. Did he spray graffiti on the house? Again, no. No, Mr. Smarty Pants tried breaking in. Our home has a big wooden fence around our backyard, but the position of the wooden planks makes it impossible or at least difficult to climb them. Entitled cousin had come in the dead of the night / early morning hours and used a ladder to climb the fence. So he's in our backyard now, tools in hand. He starts getting busy trying to open the back door. Good luck with that. Our neighbor walks her dog Frou Frou early in the next morning. So our neighbor takes Frou Frou out for his walk for a little pee and poop for the day quite early. Our neighborhood loves the guy and his loyal friend. More than once he has found people at homes who should not be there. Our neighbor and doggy Frou Frou find themselves looking at a ladder standing against the fence of my house. Our neighbor knows the situation and that we are not home. So the neighbor hears some noise at our back door and realizes what is happening. So what does he do? He lets doggy Frou Frou climb the ladder and jump into our yard. That's amazing. Frou Frou sees entitled cousin, starts growling. And who's Frou Frou? Frou Frou is a sweet, caring, funny, and protective as heck cane corso of our neighbor. It's a type of dog. How did he get the name of Frou Frou? Well, our neighbor's wife loves Beauty and the Beast, and the little dog turned seat as the name Frou Frou. So entitled cousin sees Frou Frou, who is not amused at seeing a stranger in his yard. Entitled cousin is apparently not so smart and throws a couple of tools in Frou Frou's direction. Frou Frou is having none of it, barks and charges. Entitled cousin barely manages to climb onto a table before Frou Frou gets to him. Frou Frou is a trained dog, so he doesn't bite until ordered to. Meanwhile, our neighbor is standing on the ladder, pissing his pants at the girly screams of entitled cousin while calling the cops. Entitled cousin is taken away in the back of a police car and has to stay in jail until his hearing. Our lawyer demanded that he not be released until his hearing. The no contact order is apparently not sufficient to keep him away though. We managed to send a security footage to the legal people involved, and Frou Frou got some nice doggy snacks, and neighbor and his wife were also thanked. I have to admit one thing though. When we got back, the kids went to spend the night at their friends for some slumber party time. Husband and I went to watch the footage, and it was gold. And yes, we grabbed ourselves some drinks and popcorn to watch again and again. Next part. I received several messages of cousins who heard through a lot of people that I had money. Not more cousins, please. Bro, the whole world is hearing that OP has money. This is not good. When I read this, I was mentally preparing for yet another storm. Yup, they were pissed. They wanted to know why I didn't tell anyone. One of them ranted and raved about how unfair everything was, and I could have let them know, yada, yada, yada. When she was finally done, I asked, perhaps rather rudely, if she was done and if I could explain. I made one group, and I wrote the whole story of what happened in that. I ended with the words, in bold, underlined, huge letters, "This is why I never told you." Yeah, because the other family grouped up and attacked her. Please. Yo, throw in no more cousins in the comment section, please. No more cousins. Several were shocked that what happened did happen. I asked them why they were upset. I didn't tell them. No one really answered that until I said that maybe because they wanted to benefit from it. Some said, "No way," and "How can you think that of us?" I answered that the reason I think is because of all the crap that has hit my fan. I have lost trust in people in general because of this. To make a long story short, a couple of them asked if they could get, not borrow, some money. Others said they would like to borrow some if possible. So I uploaded a document of my cousin who got the certified loan that I had signed. Told them what was stated in the document were the rules. They could read it or not. One cousin asked if I could give him a call. I did. Turns out his daughter has a severe illness. Without treatment, she'll likely pass away. I won't name it for anonymity's sake. There is a treatment in the US that could help her. Chances remain slim, but if it is a success, his daughter might live a somewhat good quality of life. Unfortunately, that treatment is not paid for by the insurance company. I didn't trust it after so many stories and asked for details. He asked if I could come visit. His daughter was in the hospital. He didn't lie. God, that girl. She's in her early 20s, but still. Tubes and monitors everywhere, books on the bed as she's trying to do some homework. I could almost see the fact that she was passing away standing at her shoulder waiting. We had a talk, and eventually her attending doctor came in and explained a bit. Later, I went with the doctor to his office, explained the rest. I went home afterwards. He verified the doctor's name and field, etc. Once again, I have to say, I don't know where this cousin is located and also like the millionth cousin that's come out of the woodwork, but my God, again, OP just goes above and beyond. Like OP has really, I'm just in OP's corner. I'm sorry. I'm in OP's corner. Cousin and I talked again on the phone. I told him that I hadn't made a decision yet and wanted to know if they wanted money for medical costs only. He confirmed that. His wife and mother of the daughter would go to the US and they had money to cover her expenses. It would be tight, but they wanted only money for the medical costs. Husband and I talked and we agreed. We agreed to help, but again, with strict rules. We would only pay the amount we were given. The US hospital gave them a number. We would pay the hospital directly and other important detail. Only thing we asked in return is that in the event of success and failure, they would put a certain amount of money towards research in installments if necessary. A tragic, but I will give it to OP, a smart thing to do. Our lawyer drew up the contract and asked another lawyer to review it. This lawyer is specialized in the medical field. I called his cousin again and I told him I had thoroughly examined the entire situation. I had been played and lied to. I was attacked in many ways and I had lost my trust in people. I thanked him for his honesty in the situation, commented how hard it must be for him. I then asked him if his wife was listening. She wasn't, but he put her on the speakerphone. I then told them the news. Only thing I heard were tears, cries. I told them that I had strict rules, sent them the draft of the document. I asked them to ask a lawyer or maybe the hospital lawyer to review it. They agreed we could sign. Later, their daughter called. Same story as her parents. I just hope this time around the money will do good. Her doctor contacted me and we are going to arrange the financial details once the contract has been signed between my cousin and I. Other family members of mine have done the greedy, grabby hand. No, this answer was simple, alongside the number of investment advisors. I told them good luck and I blocked all the beggars. I don't worry as much about them finding out where I live. My parents, brother, his wife, my sister-in-law can win a tight-lipped contest with an oyster. I have an update once more on the whole saga. I don't know if more updates will follow, but if something happens, I'll post here. The good news is that most of my family members have stopped bothering me and my husband. Finally. Ah! Eldest has a social media account that we go through together, and he has received some nasty things on them. Eldest blocked them, reported them, and thanks to our dear lawyer friend who sent some letters, it got relatively quiet once again. Those with a no contact order in place have suddenly reached out more often. People husband and I haven't spoke to / with in years contacted us more often. We kept it polite and pleasant. How many family members do you have? Entitled cousin had to pay several fines, damages, and 2 years of probation. Remember, that's the one that snuck into their house with the ladder. He tried to threaten us again. We told him Frou would love to meet him again. My blabbermouth sister-in-law knows in which town we live now. Entitled cousin seems to have told her, and we have seen her around town. We hope she stays away as per the no contact order from the freaking courts. The bad news is about my cousin with a sick daughter. She was eventually allowed to go home for a while, although with a lot of equipment, medication. But hey, everyone was happy that the daughter was home for a little while. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the daughter quarantined and rarely went out. Same goes for the dad and the mom. They hardly allowed visitors over. Elder children had quarantined, tested themselves before ever coming over, and wore masks when they came over, etc. They took every measure to heart, and they were warned that the vid would / could be the end of her. The times they went out were the times that they knew places would be quiet and people would be scarce. They took some sort of subscription to get groceries delivered to their house on a weekly basis. The driver, bless his heart, found out about the situation and even went as far to disinfect and mask himself, even though he only put the groceries at the door. He also wiped the handles of the crates in the bags. The dad and the mom managed to work from home the entire time, but it was hard on them. I will cut the story shorter. The daughter did pass away. She did contract the vid, and due to her already weak immune system, she passed. She didn't contract it in form of her parents or sibling. They tested regularly just to be on the safe side. The likely source? A relative of the mother. The guy was someone who didn't take the vids seriously. He went someplace and got symptoms afterwards. He went to get himself tested because his boss didn't want him at a job site without a negative test. Relative works in construction. Well, wouldn't you know, he did test positive. Health services explained what he had to do. His boss did the same. Boss would keep paying him, but the relative did have to stay home in quarantine. But back to the story. The mom and the dad had troubles with some leak. The daughter's room was next to the bathroom, and they had been seeing some wet spots on her bedroom wall. Figuring it was a leak, they called this relative. They asked him if he had time, and they explained the situation, and they asked him to take the precautions. He said he would take the precautions and told him he had tested negative on a test. Maybe he thought that since he couldn't do work, he would do this instead. He had to come to the daughter's room, several things done, and took his mask off several times to cough, saying it was so hot and he needed some fresh air. He was reminded every time to get that thing back on, and he was asked to leave and not return after a couple of times. The work wasn't finished, but they didn't care. The leak was found and taken care of with a temporary fix. A couple of days later, the daughter got very sick and had to be transported to the hospital. She did test positive. To say people are devastated is an understatement. The dad called me in tears a couple days after her passing. His tears were enough to know what had happened. In the background, I could hear her mother screaming. It turns out she was calling her relative about her daughter's passing, and he informed her that he was positive the time that he was there to help fix things. My cousin said goodbye quickly and went to deal with that. I don't know what happened afterward. Only thing I know is that the mother cursed and yelled at him for lying while knowing the daughter was sick and he had the vid and it was a real threat to her. We did get an invite for her online funeral. Husband and I both attended. We sent some flowers and a card. It was almost 2 months ago. The dad video called last night. This wasn't a man anymore, more of a shell. Still so lost after the loss of his daughter, his only daughter. His wife, they're not doing that great at all. It seems heartbreaking. We talked about funds, and they wanted to thank us anyway. We told them we wanted to donate that amount for research, and they were glad we wanted to do so. That's the update for now. Sooner than I would have wanted, and not the news I had hopes of sharing. Stay safe, and I hope you have a good and above all, healthy holiday. And there's another one. I thought I had no more updates would be needed as peace seemed to have returned. Wasn't long, however. Last time I gave an update on the situation with my cousin. Now I write this as it is entitled cousin and blabbermouth related. It starts with entitled cousin and blabbermouth staying in touch with each other. They kept complaining and apparently blaming all of their misfortunes on me. I am the source of their problems, and if I had just done what I was supposed to do, then none of all the bad things that would have happened. Entitled cousin then had the bright idea that I should be punished. So what did they talk about? Well, it put me in the hospital. Entitled cousin had some of his friends follow me. Since I don't work at the regular office hours, it took me about 3 weeks before I noticed the same person following me around. I got scared as I have been followed in the past. Nothing came of it, but it made me vigilant. I took some precautions to be sure and made the reports with law enforcement and asked our nice neighbor and his wife if he could keep an eye out. And they would. The nice neighbor has an experience as a private investigator, law enforcement, and specializes in training for police dogs and such. It happened about 2.5 weeks before Christmas. I was walking on the street talking on my phone when an entitled cousin and that buddy of his dragged me in a quiet street and proceeded to attack me. In a lull, I managed to hit the man where it hurt a lot, add some blows where I could before I set off an alarm of a ship's horn to alert people and do my best to get away. Where I'm from, civilians aren't allowed to carry. Police and ambulance came, reports were made, the whole shebang. I was brought to the hospital and the damage, a lot of bruises, 6 broken ribs, and a broken wrist and bruising organs. Oh my God. I'm doing all right. I had to stay for a little while as there are concerns about my lungs, liver, and kidney. Now, who is wondering where Blabbermouth is in the story? Don't worry, I'll tell you. To preface, in the time we have lived in this neighborhood, the nice neighbor and his wife have become friends of mine and my family. They both know what has happened. They know about the money, and they've provided friendships, a set of extra eyes, and a dog for my children. The nice neighbor and his wife, they don't have children, not their choice, and have become an aunt and uncle to my children. The children love them and are Frou-Frou's biggest fans. Oh, so it's Frou-Frou's owner. Okay, that makes sense. The kids, the neighbor and his wife, just a bit are begging for a sleepover with. So after quarantine, testing negative on PCRs and such, them and Frou-Frou had my children over. That's pretty cute. Blabbermouth found out where my kids were. I think she had been following them. And on the day that entitled cousin and his buddy were attacking me, she went to them while they were outside and tried to convince them to come with her. When they refused, she grabbed the youngest and tried to drag him with her. Bad move, Blabbermouth. Frou-Frou needed his walk and my children took him for that walk. My neighbor was around but not close enough to intervene swiftly. There was no need because Frou Frou did. The moment she tried to drag my youngest away, Frou Frou came sprinting towards them and started barking his head off, growling when he wasn't. My neighbor heard his dog, saw who was there with my kids, and called the cops while running towards the situation. A little while later, Blabbermouth got to quality test the backseat of a police vehicle. Thank God. According to the nice neighbor, she was behaving like a Karen, hoping I used that term right, telling everyone that was in the vicinity how nice neighbors should be arrested for having a vile and dangerous dog and that she didn't do anything wrong. False, Blabbermouth. She's out on bail and charged with attempted child abduction and breaking of the non-contact order. Entitled Cousin and his buddy also had bail set and paid it along with some charges. As to what Blabbermouth was thinking, I don't know. I know that Entitled Cousin's idea was to attack me. I mean, all of this before was disgusting. OP has been attacked before. The way that the Entitled Cousin did it, I'm speechless. My husband had a not so nice chat on the phone with Entitled Cousin Mommy as she called him and asked if we could drop the charges. Yeah, freaking right. Turns out that Entitled Cousin's boss fired him. Good. He deserves to be fired. It seems that he had some disciplinary action going against him already, and this was the final straw in his boss's eyes. Thank you, God. Entitled Cousin got to his work only to be led into the office and met with his resignation paper. We found out where his whole bow to the will of the family crap came from, Mommy Dearest. She basically told my husband that if I had done what they had asked, then nothing would have happened. Disgusting. I was from outside the family. So is she, married into the uncle of my husband. So I should do as I was told. I just had enough time to get out some sweet snacks and a drink to listen to the sounds of him going ballistic. It was lovely and scary to hear. I took the phone when he took a breather and told her she heard what he had to say and the whole spiel of contact my lawyer, harassment, yada yada, click and block. She hasn't called since. Note, Entitled Cousin now had a good job that paid well. His wife also works and they are able to pay the bills, save some as well, and have some extra to spend. I so hope he loses all of his jobs, his wife divorces him, because again, you have to be evil. I don't know. I'm speechless. It's not like they're in dire straits with that. So for people commenting he must be desperate for money, he isn't. After this incident and a couple of attempted break-ins, a neighborhood watch was formed. That is good. That is good. We gave the people involved a photo of Blabbermouth and Entitled Cousin and told them that we had a no contact order against them and asked them to call law enforcement if they were spotted in the neighborhood. All in all, we had a nice Christmas and New Year's. We're doing as well as can be. I am still sore and have to go to the hospital for checkups. My husband and I are progressively getting concerned since Entitled Cousin and Blabbermouth are not deterred by the piece of paper that states no contact order. Moving again is out of the question. When my husband and I were talking about it one night while the kids were in bed, eldest had come downstairs and overheard us. He was adamant that he didn't want to move. His reasons were that if they did this and we would move again after each escalation, we would keep moving. He felt safe in this home and with Frou Frou and the nice neighbors and his wife in the vicinity. The other two agreed when we talked to them in the morning. Kids are shaken, but doing relatively well. Due to what happened, we were also looking into therapy for all of us. That is a very smart move. The youngest is quite shaken, but is now thinking of how cool it was that Frou Frou protected him and how Blabbermouth was trying to climb a car. God. Eldest understands what has happened a bit better and is more fearful. Our nice neighbor and his wife have offered Frou Frou for sleepovers so the kids feel safe. We are also thinking about getting our own Frou Frou. I was actually just about to mention that. Nice neighbor has already offered in the purchase and training of the dog, and my husband is frantic with worry about what might have happened and what Entitled Cousin might try. We are going to do some research on how to protect ourselves further. We are talking with law enforcement, our dear lawyer, and other people to see what is possible in terms of the law without turning our neighborhood into a heavy security prison or something like that. And ladies and gentlemen, one final update to this story. I didn't think I would come back with an update so soon. Grab the snacks and drinks, turn on the music, and dance with me. Or more. For me, my ribs still hurt. Entitled Cousin and Blabbermouth have been arrested. Yes, I'm so happy. And are now finding out how the jail looks from the inside. Yes! Yes! Hubby and I were both called by them, begging us to drop the charge. With this, they broke the no contact order and the bail order. We got everything recorded and then called law enforcement immediately along with my lawyer. They were arrested. I just received the news. Huge butt wiggle from me. And a small update, as I don't have a lot to tell on this, but I thought you might want to hear. Entitled Cousin and Blabbermouth are still getting used to their new environment, aka prison. They are not going to be released again until trial. We hope they won't change, so happy dance for us. But Entitled Cousin met someone else, and that one is Karma. And Karma is a bee. I was informed of this by none other than Entitled Cousin's wife, henceforth known as Wonder Woman. His wife came to my house not to yell at me, curse me, or threaten me. No, she came to thank me. I was apprehensive and didn't allow her inside, but what she did through the mail slot to me made me invite her in. Her story. Entitled Cousin was apparently financially and emotionally abusive. He never laid a hand on her or their children and never abused their children, but whatever money she made, he made sure he got it. She was only allowed to work for cash so he could get his hands on it easier. Whatever savings she had, he had forced her to surrender in the name of we are a unit. Disgust. This man is beyond disgust. We already know that. We already know that. She was broken and afraid. He had threatened divorce and taking the children because no judge would ever give her custody since she couldn't support them. In that case, he wouldn't allow her to see them as she was a bad wife and mother for leaving him. But now that he was behind bars, she found the rest of the courage she needed and access to all of the bank accounts, joint and her own, as well as other important things. She already had contact with a divorce lawyer, but was too afraid to go through with it. Her parents had talked to her many times and told her to get some real legal advice. She finally did, but was biding her time. So, when Entitled Cousin got arrested and was sent to prison for a longer stay this time, she got the locks changed, the house is in her name, inheritance, etc., put all the things in boxes, closed a joint account after dividing the money equally, and did a whole list of other things I can't remember. And on the same day he was served with the papers, his parents got a lot of boxes with stuff and a letter. She was divorcing him. The stack of papers she gave me, a copy of the divorce papers. She was crying. She was and has been so afraid. Apology after apology about not being able to stop him from doing all of those things. The reason she came was to let me know this and how me getting attacked and Entitled Cousin breaking the bail was the miracle she needed. She apologized because my misery enabled her escape. I told her I wasn't angry at her. Wow. She did what she could. I was a bit surprised about the speed of everything, but with help from her parents, her family, and her friends, she had been planning her flight to freedom, as she called it, for at least 7 to 8 months. What set her in motion was the visit, all the cousins coming over, if you remember from the very beginning of the story. And along with that, he had said about it all. It lifted whatever blindness she had had. She finally believed those words others had said about her husband. It took some time, but after getting help, she started planning everything. She's afraid but relieved, crying tears of joy, fear, and sadness all at the same time, and she kept apologizing, although I assured her she had nothing to be sorry about. Her parents are helping out financially for the moment as she's looking for a job. I asked her about what she used to do. After telling me, I gave a call to an old friend of mine. I knew he was looking for someone and asked if he could send the job description, as I know someone who might fit it. She looked and told me that this might work. Friday, she called me saying that she has an interview next week. Fingers crossed. We had a good chat and I gave her my number so she could call me if she needed help. I'm good at budgeting, and next week I'm going to her and I'm going to help her. So, Entitled Cousin is in prison for the time being, but when he gets out, sooner rather than later, I would rather later, it will be crappy for him. He will have no job, no home, no wife, no support from friends. His buddy told the friend group everything and they dropped him so fast as if he was a live grenade. A record, and he might not be able to go to his parents, and his father is furious and has disowned him. And that is how, up until this point, Entitled Cousin meets Karma. Let's see what else life and hopefully Karma has in stock for Entitled Cousin. Let's take a breath together. Ready? We have been through it, everyone watching this show. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you hanging with me for all of this time. No Sam. I've been missing Sam this whole episode. I mean, there's so many things you can say here. One, I think that OP has been through it. When I say been through it, I mean that is an understatement. OP did, I think, the absolute best she could have done and did way more than she ever needed to do. And she was punished for it. It seemed like she held her head high through all of that. Just a disgusting turn of events for the family. I mean, imagine your own family turning on you, like, just beyond awful. Blabbermouth received so much from everything and still did all of this to her. I'm hoping the best for OP and for her family. I'm glad that OP at least got some, great resources and hopefully outside of all of this stuff, a good life. It seems like she has a very, very, very level head on her shoulders. And again, I thank you for being with me on the story. I don't know, I'm feeling much closer to you guys after reading this story, after doing a solo episode. We've spent a lot of time together. Thank you for watching. I hope this show helps you. We get comments of people saying that they're going through a hard time. We always hope that the show is a place of solace. You can go, you can hang with your friends, Sam and John. I know this story had ups and downs. I hope that's what it was for you today. I hope you have the best day ever. Me and Sam love you. Have a great one. See you on the next episode.